And we have Tommy Mandel back on the organ. And Roger Lipson on the percussion. And joining us for the first time tonight on bass guitar, Pete Bremy.
Pete Bremy, he plays with all different acts, but he's been recently on tour with the Vanilla Fudge. He's a great bass player, great guy. This next portion of the show is very, very special to my heart. And actually, who remembers listening to music in 1967? That's all? Who remembers listening to music back in 1967? Come on. I knew we had a lot more old people than that. Well, back in 19...
No. You're not allowed to use the O word tonight.
Well, back in 1967, a writing duo was just getting started, and they wound up to be one of the greatest writing duos anywhere, anytime. And they're called Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, and they created the sound of Philadelphia. We're going to take a little detour off the Bangladesh thing for a little while. And this is really cool because back in 1967, I remember I'm one of 7 brothers, and my 3 oldest, me and my 2 older brothers, were taken by my grandmother and my grandfather to the Village Theater out in Manhattan. And I was a little kid, and this was the end of 1967. The first band that came out was Canned Heat. Canned Heat came out. Go to the country where they wanna taste like wine. And then I didn't care about anybody because my uncle played in the 3rd band out of the 4 that was coming on. I didn't care who was playing. The next guy came on, he was a black dude, and I was glad he was off because I thought they were all cheering for my uncle when the next group was going to come on, but they weren't cheering for my uncle, they were cheering for him. I found out what an encore was. It was Richie Havens. Richie Havens played. Then my uncle and these 2 next great singers that I'm about to introduce came out, and they were from the Soul Survivors. Who remembers the Soul Survivors? Come on. Yep, there you go. Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff had their first million seller with these guys. These guys are originally from Manhattan. They lived in Manhattan, and now they live in Philadelphia, but they're Manhattan boys. They're New Yorkers, and they had a big hit in 1967 called Expressway to Your Heart, which you may hear tonight. You never know. But my uncle was in the band, and I was really so happy to see him up there. And then the next group came on after the Soul Survivors, and the crowd went crazy because they had a big hit record on the radio. The next group came on, and they were so loud. That's all I remembered was that they were really loud. And my grandmother and grandfather said, "We got to get out of here. It's too loud for us." And they took us backstage. So I walked out on the Cream. What can I tell you? Eric Clapton and the Cream. But anyway...
these kids today, you can't tell them nothing.
The very first hit record from the Gamble and Huff writing team was sang by these guys right here. This is a great, great singing duo, and they are fantastic, and it's my privilege to introduce Charlie and Richie Ingwe of the Soul Survivors.
Ho!
You, girl, while we dance, make romance, I'm intending down the things that you do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love music, sweet, sweet music. Long as you're swinging, oh, my darling, that is bringing, yeah, yeah. Wow. I love music. I love music. I love cowboys to girls. I remember when I used to play shoot 'em up, bang, bang, baby. And I remember when I chased the girls and beat 'em up. I never did that. Wait a minute. When I was young and didn't understand. Ooh, but now I'm a grown-up man. And I know girls are made for kissing. Never knew what I was missing. Now my life is not the same. My whole world has been rearranged. I went from cowboys to girls, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, baby dolls to boys. Cowboys to girls, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, baby dolls to boys. I'll always love my mama. She's my favorite girl. I'll always love my mama. She born me in this world. A mother's love is so special. It's something that you can't describe. It's the kind of love that stays with you until the day you die. She taught me little things like saying hello and thank you please while scrubbing the floor on a bended knee. Oh, she's one of a kind. You got yours and I got mine. Hey mama, my heart belongs to you. Oh yeah, I'll always love my mama. She's my favorite girl. Only get one, you only get one, yeah. I'll always love my mama. She born me in this world. Only get one, you only get one, yeah. You know what I mean? Woo!
I love my mama too.
What they doing? They're smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabbers, they're smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabber, all you fellas who have someone you really care. Yeah. All you fellas better beware. Yeah. Somebody's out to get you lady. A few of your buddies there show them shady. Blades are long, clutch tight in their fist, aiming straight at your back. Well, I don't think they'll miss what they're doing. They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabbers, they smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabber. Wait a minute. I keep getting all these visits from my friends. Yeah, what they doing to me? They come to my house trying to get it, yeah. So I'll be there to see my woman. I don't even be home, but they just keep on coming. What can I do to get on the right track? I wish they'd take some of these knives out my back. What they doing? They're smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place. They backstabbers, backstabbers. They're smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place. No backstabbers, backstabbers. They're smiling in your face. Nah, 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 nah. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah!
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You know, when I used to tell people that my uncle was
Thank
in
you.
that band, they always used to go, no, those guys are black. They used to say
No,
that.
no, they're just Sicilian.
Sicilian, man. You guys, I got a little surprise for you, just a little surprise. Who in here knew my Uncle Joe Forgione from the Soul Survivors? Well, we all miss him. He left us a couple of years ago, and there's a big void in my life. But you know what? For me to do something like this is very special. His wife is here, his daughter, and way back in the 60s, when these guys played, they were on a ton of TV shows, including Regis Philbin on the Joey Bishop show. They were on the Who remembers the Joey Bishop show? Anybody remember? Well, anyway, they were on all sorts of shows that were on, and back then they used to erase all the. They used to tape over these things, but we came up with a rare clip of the Soul Survivors from 1968, and another little clip. It's very short. Steve, can you roll this for me, please? Check back there. Look right there. Nope, wrong one.
Wrong one.
Hey, this is live, folks.
I don't think that's a Soul Survivor.
That's the wrong one. So we're
I don't
gonna.
know if they're coming through on acoustic guitars if you're hearing them, but it's.
So these three guys walk into a bar. Yeah. All right, he'll find it. He'll get it. He'll get it. Hey, let's hear it for Joey Mullen from Badfinger. He's here too, right? Isn't that cool? Do 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 do. Yeah. You don't mind if I dance for you? You know what? We're gonna play the clip after we do this song. We're gonna play the clip after you find that, and we're gonna continue with the show. By the way, who just stepped in on drums was a friend of my Uncle Joe also. From the Vanilla Fudge, Beck, Bogert, and Appice, Cactus, Rod Stewart for all his major hits.
And Blue Murder.
That's Carmine Appice, the correct way to say it. And we brought back Tommy Burns from Billy Joel's band to play some guitar. Let's start it up, folks. Here we go. Carmine's ready to kick some butt.
You for a long time, 'cause Captain B, you've been on my mind. I was thinking about a shortcut I could take, but it seemed like I made a mistake. But I was wrong. Ooh, took too long. I got caught in the rush hour.